She pointed at me from across the lake and yelled, "Hey, you can't fish here. I'm calling the cops right now." Before I could even look up, Karen was already on her phone, pacing like she owned the whole world. I didn't say a word. I just pulled my line in slowly, because I knew exactly how this was going to end. Within minutes, 2 HOA officers came marching toward me like I was some criminal hiding a stolen boat. One of them barked, "Sir, step away from the water." "This lake belongs to the HOA. You're trespassing." Karen stood behind them with her arms crossed, already smiling like she'd won something big. She said loudly, "Arrest him. People like him think rules don't apply here." I stayed calm even when the HOA guy tried to grab my fishing rod. I could see the neighbors gathering, whispering, cameras out. Karen loved that attention. She leaned in and said, "You're done here. This is my neighborhood and this lake is our property." I looked at her for the first time and smiled. Just one quiet smile, and that smile changed her face instantly. She froze, confused. The HOA officer stared at me too, waiting for me to panic, but I didn't, because she had no idea what she had just started, and she definitely had no idea who actually owned this lake. "Are you sure you want to do this?" I asked softly. Karen scoffed. "Oh, I'm more than sure. You're going to pay for this." If only she knew. She was the one about to lose $8.2 million. The real cops arrived with their lights flashing, and Karen rushed toward them like she had just saved the country. "Officer, that man is trespassing on HOA property. He refused to leave. Arrest him." She pointed at me like I was some dangerous outlaw. The officer walked over to me slowly. "Sir, do you have any ID? We've been told you're not allowed to be here." Karen smirked behind him, whispering loudly, "He probably doesn't even live in this county." I handed the officer my ID without saying anything. He looked at it, then he looked at me again, and something shifted in his expression. Karen didn't notice. She was too busy practicing her victory face. The HOA officer stepped in and tried to take charge. "We already issued him a formal HOA violation." He resisted. I raised an eyebrow. "Violation? On my own land?" Karen pushed past everyone and said, "Yes, your land? Don't make me laugh. This entire lake belongs to the HOA. We manage every inch of this water." The real cop stepped closer to her. "Ma'am, did you say the HOA owns this lake?" She nodded proudly. "Yes, and he doesn't belong here." The cop inhaled slowly, almost like he was trying not to laugh. "Ma'am, this lake is not HOA property." Her face dropped. "What? Of course it is." I finally spoke, calm and steady. "Officer, should I show them?" The cop nodded. "Yeah, I think you should." I reached into my truck, pulled out a thick folder, one Karen had never seen before. Inside was the original land deed from 1964, signed by the previous owner, certified by the county. I flipped to the first page and held it up. This entire lake, the water, the shoreline, everything within 200 feet of it, I said quietly, belongs to me." Karen stumbled back like someone had pulled the ground from under her. Her mouth fell open. No, that's fake. The HOA owns this land. They told us." The cop shook his head. "Ma'am, the HOA built houses around his lake. They don't own a single drop of it." And that's when the real panic began, because Karen suddenly realized every fine she issued me, every threat she made, every HOA decision involving this lake was illegal. Her voice cracked. This can't be happening." But it was. And the worst part for them, I wasn't even angry yet. Karen's panic turned into full-blown desperation. She pointed at the HOA officers like they were supposed to magically fix everything. "Do something. He can't just claim the lake. This affects the whole community." One HOA officer whispered, "Karen, we were told the lake was part of the HOA." She snapped, "I don't care what you were told, fix it." But the real cop stepped between them. "Ma'am, you need to calm down. If this deed is valid, the HOA has been using private property without permission." That sentence hit her like a punch. Neighbors started murmuring. Phones were out. Cameras rolling. Karen hated when the spotlight wasn't flattering, and now every eye was on her. She rushed toward me again, voice shaking. "Listen, maybe we can talk. Maybe we can work something out." I stared at her, confused at how fast she switched from ruler of the world to terrified neighbor. "Work what out?" She swallowed hard. "The HOA built docks, signs, walking paths for the lake. If you claim this property now, you could sue us. I didn't say anything. She took my silence as a threat. Her voice cracked again. And that would destroy our budget. The upgrades alone cost more than $8.2 million. There it was. The number she never wanted to say out loud. I stepped closer just enough for her to feel the pressure. Karen, you told the cops to arrest me. You claimed I was trespassing on my own property, and you filed fake violations. Her lips trembled. I didn't know. They told me the lake was HOA land. Who told you? I asked. She hesitated, eyes darting to the two HOA officers. Both of them looked guilty. Really guilty. The real cop noticed too. Is someone going to explain? He said slowly.
Why the HOA has been enforcing rules on land that doesn't belong to them.
One HOA officer finally cracked. It was the president, he muttered. She didn't want homeowners to know the lake wasn't ours. She said controlling it would raise property value. Karen gasped. You said we owned it. We never did, the officer blurted. But you kept acting like you ran the place, so we let you handle complaints. Karen's face twisted with betrayal and rage. You set me up. You let me make a fool of myself. And as they all started fighting, yelling, blaming each other, I stood there watching the whole HOA crumble in front of me. Piece by piece. Lie by lie. Exactly the way they deserved. And this wasn't even the twist I had planned for them yet. Karen's meltdown got louder as the truth sank in. The HOA president arrived, trying to calm everyone. But the real cop stopped her immediately. Ma'am, we need to talk about why your HOA has been controlling land that never belonged to you. The president tried to lie, but I quietly handed the officer the second document in my folder, an email chain between the previous owner and the HOA from years ago. It clearly showed the HOA knew the lake wasn't theirs and used it anyway. Karen froze. The president went pale. The cop looked at them both. You've been charging fees, issuing violations, and restricting access on private property. That's fraud. Karen stuttered. Please, he won't really press charges, right? I looked at her, calm as ever. You called cops on me for fishing on my own lake. You tried to get me arrested. You humiliated me in front of everyone. And now you want mercy? She whispered. I didn't mean... I cut her off. I don't need revenge. I just want the truth to come out. And that was enough. Within days, the county launched a full investigation. The HOA was fined heavily. The president was removed. And Karen, who had been the loudest voice, was hit with the biggest penalty. Their misuse of the lake, the illegal constructions, and the fake violations totaled $8.2 million in damages. The HOA collapsed under its own lies. Karen tried to apologize again, but this time she had no audience, no power, no fake authority. I simply told her, next time, ask who owns the land before acting like you control it. I fixed my dock, cleaned my fishing rod, and sat by the water in peace, finally. And every time a neighbor walked by, they'd smile and say the same thing. You saved this whole place. But I'd just shake my head. I didn't save anything, I'd say. I just protected what was already mine. The end. Please visit my new channel, link in the description. Watch the videos, enjoy them, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't miss out on the new HOA stories.